All right, here we go, back at it again, getting you set for Kentucky Derby number 152. And today we're going to take a look at something that might be a little subjective, but I think we can all agree on certain result of the Kentucky Derby being shocking, right? Shocking being, some folks could say that Giacomo was a shocker at 50 to 1. I'll accept that. Obviously, Mind That Bird was a shocker. Obviously, Rich Strike was shocking. But you know what was also quite shocking? War Emblem getting away on the front end at 20 to 1. So sometimes they can be somewhat subjective, but I think we know what we're talking about here. Let's take a look at the runners getting set with our leaderboard, and then we'll talk about what's happening with shocking results, and those shocking results usually result in a long shot price coming through, right? Take a look at what's happening with your leaderboard. We'll talk about the long shot shockers. You see the first page, no difference, right? Everything's the same. Second page, you see Otino and Klaus President. They're out. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody else got removed from this field as well. And then you take a look at the rest of them, and you see that probably Universe and Grittiness won't get in. I wouldn't be surprised to see Iron Honor out of this thing. So that means Intrepido would probably get in. It's interesting. It's still a little fluid. It'll be worked out by Saturday for sure. Here we go. Top 5 Derby shockers. Horses that if they won would shock the bleep out of me. Right to Party, obviously. I'm thinking he's going to be 99 to 1 in the gate. Seriously. Even though he ran second in the Wood, I don't know why anybody would bet him. So Happy. He won the Santa Anita Derby, but there's so many things against him that I'd be really, really shocked if he won, and he's probably going to be up to 40 to 45 to 1. Pavlovian, same thing. He had a nice victory, but it just doesn't seem like he has enough to win the race. He'll be 45 to 1. 6 Speed, same thing. And those 3 horses there all have something in common. They've got early speed. And so I don't think they're going to be around when it's all said and done. And then the big controversy, Chief Wallaby. I'll tell you why in a second. Let's take a look at him and discuss why. Like I said to you before, Right to Party, he has a great kick, but he's too green, and I feel like when he takes himself back to the back of the pack, like he will, and there's that bumping and all the crazy dirt and everything happening, I think he's going to freak out and just back up and get out of the race. I can't see him legitimately competing in the stretch when the stuff gets crazy. So Happy. He doesn't have enough experience. He's not justified. He doesn't have enough experience, and he doesn't have enough speed to steal it. Right? If you sometimes don't have experience, then you just kind of get out there on the front end, and maybe you can get away from the field, and that might be the difference. I don't think he has enough speed to do that. We'll see if Mike tries that. And I just think he's going to be green as well when they get into the real running. He's a pace factor, in my opinion. Same thing with Pavlovian. He's a pace factor, and he has heart, but he's new to this. Like, he just started going to the front end in the last 2 races. And so he hasn't shown the ability to carry pace all the way around and win. And that's the issue. He's going to be challenged early on. And with all due respect, even if he isn't challenged early on, I don't think he's good enough to keep going. So if he were to win the race, he'll be about 40-something to 1, in my opinion. That would shock the hell out of me. Like, what? Really? And then this horse, 6 Speed. He's got speed, but none of it is scaring anybody. There's not one person that's handicapping going, oh my God, if they let 6 Speed get away, we're in trouble. Nope. First off, he won't get away. And 2, we don't think he's good enough to keep going. And if he were able to do that, we'd all be super shocked. We're like, what the flippity flip? And then there's this little freak of nature. He's had 3 really good runs, but he's only had 3 starts. Broke his maiden first time out going 7 furlongs. Ran a game second in the Fountain of Youth, which wasn't really all that strong, but he was in the mix. And then he ran a decent 3rd in the Florida Derby. Again, another race that wasn't that strong. So while it's encouraging that Chief Wallaby ran well in those races, I think he's going to get absolutely swallowed up. Here's the thing. I think he got started too late with his running, right? Didn't run as a 2-year-old. Then he's adding blinkers at this late stage. Look, Bill Mott has more horse racing knowledge in his stool sample than I have. He knows everything. But I'm just saying, as a player, I don't want anything to do with this horse. I don't care how talented he is. And now they put the blinkers on, which is something that never really works, 2 weeks out from the Derby. And I just don't think that he has enough experience, and I don't think he's talented enough to overcome the lack of experience. He's having great workouts, and if you go to Twitter or X, you'll see everybody, oh my God, this is the horse, this is the horse. And every year there's one. Last year it was Baeza, and he ran well. I was super wrong about that horse. And I could be wrong about this horse too. But if there are horses that I'm going to be like, nope, absolutely toss it out, this will be one of them. He's not the only one. In fact, there's only one horse where I'm like, absolutely not. Absolutely, not just absolutely not, no effing way. And that's stark contrast. Absolutely no way. Now you're looking at the horse and you're like, well, he's run well in all of his starts. Absolutely. What's his worst performance? His debut on the dirt at Del Mar. Now, you can go ahead and throw that out because it's the debut. But then he goes to the turf, everything changes, right? And then the synthetic, great job. Nice job. Full effort, ran right past him, but still, nice job. There is nothing in this horse's past performances. There is nothing in this horse's pedigree. There is nothing in this horse's running style that says to me, oh yeah, he can win the Derby. He can't even hit the board in the Derby. I don't know what the hell they're going to do. I'm expecting by the time this show is released, stark contrast has been removed from the Derby. That's what I'm expecting. He'll be removed. He has no shot. There, I said it. And I'm not even being insulting. Like, when we say a horse has no shot, we don't mean that horse sucks, right? We just mean the horse doesn't belong here. Like, if he goes anywhere else and runs on the turf, he'll be exceptional. He can go to synthetic again. That's cool. But he does not belong on the dirt, in my opinion, as a handicapper. And you just can't look at 20 horses and be like, well, 19 of them have a shot. No, they don't. They don't. You have to make decisions as a handicapper. And if you're wrong, then be wrong. That's what's wrong with everybody. You're afraid to be wrong. It's like these young kids on the street, afraid to take an ass whooping. They'd rather shoot somebody or stab somebody. And put your fist up and take an ass whooping and come back again tomorrow. Same thing with the sport. Have an opinion. Try not to offend people. If you're right, awesome. If you're wrong, okay, learn from it and move on. My opinion is stark contrast does not belong in the race. And I believe the connections will realize that by the time this recording is released. All right? That's enough on that. Now, let's get into the business of our daily Derby dollars. All right? We put out these picks to try to build up that Derby bankroll as we get closer and closer to the day. Right? So we're going to go with the Bewitch, which is the stakes race coming up at Keeneland. That's coming up on Friday. And the Bewitch is going to be 1.5 miles on the turf course. It's going to be race number 8. We're going to go with the number 9 runner, Speed Shopper. Hey, mama, there go that man again, Johnny V. So in these marathon races, i.e. 1.5 miles, right? We'll see 1 3/4, 2 mile races. I don't want my horse to be too far back. I want, especially at 1.5 miles, I want them to be in that first flight, just off the pace. And I think that's where Speed Shopper is going to be. He doesn't have a tremendous amount of early speed, but they don't need that in these marathon races, right? But he's going to be in a good spot, and I think he needs to be there to get the jump on the deep closers. I don't think we'll be the favorite. We'll probably be third choice, but we're just trying to build the bankroll, right, as you get closer to Kentucky Derby Saturday or Oaks Friday, and you just feel better about your choices. And maybe you have some room to make some mistakes, right? You got some room for error, but we don't want to have any mistakes, especially on Oaks and Derby Day. All right, so that's how we do it here on Horse Race Bets. In the meantime, in between time, until next time, I'm Ken Rudulph. We will see you here, and we will continue our Derby and Oaks discussion coming up. After this show, we'll be talking about the post-position draw for the Oaks and the Derby, and what Oaks and Derby week is really all about for the industry and the media. All right? All right, until then, good luck and enjoy whatever you're into. We'll talk to you again next time.